what is up? My name is Meg and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. Welcome to today's video, which is a highly requested video from you guys. And basically it's talking about all the unread books I have on my shelves that are middle grade. Now middle grade, for those of you who don't know, are books that are written for young people, basically between the ages of 9 and 12, and usually who have protagonists that are the same age. I have become an avid middle grade reader in the last 2 or 3 years, and my love for it just keeps growing, as does my TBR. So today we are going through all the books I have that are either standalones or part of series that I have yet to read. There are a lot here, so grab a snack, a drink, whatever you need to get through this video. I will also say I have a lot of middle grade books on my shelves that I have read, but you're just not going to see them because they are not part of this video concept. This video is created for 2 reasons. One, because it's important to me to highlight middle grade books. I feel like they are not spoken about enough in the bookish community. And 2, for the purpose of video creating. If you guys are interested in having some of these as book club picks for my middle grade book club, which if you don't know, I do have a middle grade book club. I will leave all the information in the cards. Or if you want specific reviews, or you want me to make videos out of some of these books, do let me know in the comments if there's some specific books you've never heard of or want more information. Again, leave me a comment down below and I will try to answer and create content around that. I will also say that to me, middle grade is just such a wonderful genre that really deserves to be read and to be spoken of. So that is my true purpose in making today's video. We are going to start with series that I have the entire series for, or a lot of books in that I haven't read, and move our way into series that I've started, and finally into standalones. If you want to navigate this video, if you're looking for specific books, like for example you just want to hear about standalone books, feel free to move on. If not, let's just get going. We are going to start off this video with the king of middle grade, and that would be Riordan. I have read the Percy Jackson series multiple times. I'm currently in my next reread to eventually move on to the series I'm talking to you guys about today. The first of which is The Trials of Apollo. I have technically read The Trials of Apollo like 3 times just because I wanted to immerse myself in this world, specifically because I love the character of Apollo, and the audiobooks for these are so great that even if I had not read other of the series I'm going to show you, I just jumped in and wanted to try it out. I really love the first book, but I need to read the 3 I have here. Technically, I know there are more in the series, but I own the first 3 as of now. You guessed it, this is from the perspective of Apollo. So I have this series, but the real priority are these here, and this is the series that is the Heroes of Olympus, which is technically what you're supposed to read after you read the original 5 books in the Percy Jackson series. I have never read these books and I'm ashamed to say so, but it is what it is. I've had these on my TBR for years now, when I really started getting into middle grade and collecting, because I did not grow up with Percy Jackson. It wasn't my age group, but I discovered it in my early teens and then stopped reading for a while, and here we are. So these I need to read as well. There will not be synopses for most of these books because 1, I don't want to spoil myself, and 2, because we would be here for way too long. And the last series I have, which has been written by Riordan, are not in order, so give me a second, are the Magnus Chase books. I have 3. I think there may be more in this series as well. These are Norse gods, so I'm really interested to see how this one goes. I haven't heard a lot of people speak of Magnus Chase, but I for one am really intrigued and think that Riordan can do no wrong. So very hyped. Also, side note, you may hear my dog whining throughout this video. She's very needy and we're learning to have our own space. Another series that I am technically in the middle of is the Keeper of the Lost City series. If you don't know, I also have a read-along going on for the series on my channel that is basically reading a book a month. I am late in posting my reviews for these, but the original plan was to go live every month. So if you want to join me and join these lives, again, I will leave all the information in the cards, but I'm currently up to book 3 for the month of March. So I have 4, 5, and 6 that I do own, and I need to get the remainder of the series. Technically there are 9 books out. I believe there will be a book 9.5, or 9.5 is already out, and then there will be book 10, which should be the series finale, but I own up to book 6. Another series which I own a lot of books in is the Adventures on Train series. I have read the first book and I really enjoyed it, and so I went ahead and got the other books as they came out. So I currently have 5 on my TBR, but I think that's all there is to it. I'm not sure if there's any more that I do not own, but currently those are the ones I have to read. These are books centering around a mystery, mysteries, murders, kidnappings, all of these things. So it's a middle grade mystery series on a bunch of trains. So through this series you get to travel with our main characters as well as learn about trains and solve some mysteries. Honestly, it's a great one that I highly recommend. A book series that I have not started and is extremely intimidating to me is The School for Good and Evil. I don't know why I am so scared of these books, but I just feel like they are daunting. Like, I feel like they're gonna be good, but again, it's a very big commitment, and I feel like these were so popular back in like 2014. Is that even when it was published? But I feel like when I first started booktube, these were like all the talk. Yeah, 2013 literally was the year this book was published, and every big booktuber was talking about these books, and then nobody spoke of them for ages afterwards. I believe it became like a Netflix series or a movie or something like that. This is a series I'm considering doing a read-along for once I am done with The Keepers of the Lost Cities, so probably in 2025. I don't know if there's more than 4 books. I'm assuming yes, but if you are interested in that, do let me know. This is about 2 young girls, I believe, who gets swapped in their school. So one of them was supposed to go to the school for good and the other for evil, and their places are swapped, and then we follow them through all of that. I do like the premise of it being set in a school, but again, I'm scared. A book series which I attempted to read before I was in my middle grade era is the Sorcery of Thorn series that was highly recommended by Gavin at Gavin Reads It All, and I believe Jade from January Reads had also really enjoyed this. I have the 2 first books, but technically I DNF'd the first one. However, I have kept them on my shelves for years because I do have a feeling that if I were to reread them now, I would really enjoy them. These I think would be good picks for book club. So I am considering doing these maybe in the fall, but again, I really tried. This is about like 3 sisters and a family curse, but I really could not get into it for some reason, so crossing my fingers that I'll enjoy them more next time around. The next 2 books I have are part of a companion series. They are The Last Fire Fox and The First Shadow Dragon, and they are, as I said, companion novels. The Last Fire Fox is about a young boy who gets bullied at school, and he ends up being the guardian of a furry fox, but that fox ends up being the last fire fox, so I'm assuming that will be a great responsibility. And I have no idea what The First Shadow Dragon is about, but I know the little fox is also on this cover and it drew me in. This was technically on my self-destruct list. It's like one of the only books I've kept from that list because I'm still interested, but have not committed to reading them. Don't ask me why. Another series of books that are in the same world are Wilder Than Midnight and Swifter Than Starlight by Carrie Burnell. These covers are absolutely gorgeous, as are their sprayed edges. These feel very like fairy tale-esque, and I'm super intrigued by them, but I haven't been in the mood for this kind of middle grade in a really long time, which is unfortunate because like just the aesthetic of these books and the premises sound great. But I just need someone to like tell me to read them. Maybe I could review them. Maybe if you're interested in them for book club, let me know. I really apologize for the squeaky toys my dog is playing with, but again, we are all adjusting. The next books I want to talk about are in the Dragon Legend and Dragon Force series. Technically, I have read the first book in the Dragon Legend series, really enjoyed that book, and so I got book 2 to keep reading, and then Waterstones came out with the special edges as such, which, there you go, for a spin-off series, and I missed out on the sprayed edges for the first books, like the first series, so I didn't want to make that mistake, so I got the first book in the upcoming series as well, but I do need to get through the Dragon Legend books or Dragon Realm series first. The next 2 books, I'm not sure if they're a series or a series of companion novels, but those are Head Witch and Wood Witch, and they are witchy middle grade books. I'm very excited for these. I tried getting people to vote for them for book club. It didn't happen. I don't know. I don't think you guys are as interested in these as I am. But first of all, these covers are stunning, and I just think that like witchy middle grade books, you can't go wrong with them. And there's like magical creatures and flying broomsticks. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be a whole vibe when I get to these. But again, I had tried to put them in for book club. And because they weren't chosen, I did not prioritize them, but I'm very intrigued in those books. I also have other companion novels here that are very Christmassy, and those are the books in the Math Haig series. I have the first two, A Boy Called Christmas and The Girl Who Saved Christmas. These are obviously Christmas inspired stories. Very hyped for them both, but I ran out of time this holiday season and could not read them. Moving on to most standalones or like duologies, those kinds of things. The first I have on my stack is Paper Dragon. This is actually the March book club pick for my book club. I'm super excited for this one, and it has to do with underwater schools, which, like, excuse me, an underwater school? Yes, please. I was sold. No need to say more. I have the second book in the Lockwood & Co. series. Lockwood & Co. was actually my first book club pick. These are like paranormal mysteries, and they're very popular. They were turned into a Netflix show. So I have the second book to keep going with the series. We have Stepfather Christmas by Aldi Lipinski. She is the author of the Traveling Agency books. This is a special book that you can read in 25 chapters one day every day until Christmas, and it makes a story. Again, ran out of time before Christmas, still interested. I have The Vanquishers by Kaylin Barron, who is an author of very popular young adult novels, and this I think was her first foray into middle grade, and it is vampire themed, which I'm super interested in. Another book I've had on my TBR for a really long time is the Polar Bears Explorers Club. This is the first in a series, a very popular series. I have wanted to read this for Polarthon by JD Berry Reads her readathon for multiple years. Never got around to it. Another book which I mention often on my channel is Yesterday Crumb and the Storm in a Teacup. This I want to read because it sounds whimsical and odd, and I'm super excited. I had this on my TBR a little while ago, but unfortunately did not have time to read this. Super intrigued. How many times I'm gonna say intrigued, interested, take a shot every time. I also have another first book in a series that is The Blackthorn Key, and this is a very popular series, but I haven't seen people talk about it for years because it's an older series, and I don't know if this is a mystery, but I believe it's a mystery series. It sounds right up my alley. We have Crookhaven, The School for Thieves. This is also the first book in a series. I know there is a second book out. I do not own it currently, but this is literally a school for thieves. I forgot another duology or series, I think it's a duology I'm in the middle of, is the Miss Wick School of Musicraft, and I also have the second book, which is The Midnight Orchestra. These are about a music school, and the music is magic. I'm obsessed with the first book. I'm currently reading it right now, and the audio for this is also exceptional. I'm like 100 pages in, and I can already tell you this is going to be like a new basic recommendation of mine. So if you're looking for middle grade and have the same taste as I do, I think you would really enjoy this one, and it is super underhyped. I've never heard anybody talk about these books, but they are great and they are gorgeous, and I love them. I also have Once Upon a Legend by Ben Miller. I have never read Ben Miller before, and this book was on clearance on Waterstones, and I decided it would be a great addition to start with, like a great addition to my library. It's short, and it's relatively new, I believe, so I have no idea what this is about or what Ben Miller does, but I've just heard his name constantly. So we're gonna give him a shot eventually. If you've read his books, let me know how they are. I have The Stormkeeper's Island by Catherine Doyle, which is a new book I purchased. This is a series as well, and it's like about a mysterious magical island, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I have the Witchlings. This is a book I picked up because one, it's part of a series and I'm super interested in where the series goes, and two, because this author is really well known for some of her other books, and this is about a magical town and a black moon ceremony about witches, and it sounds right up my alley. Again, this is currently in a poll pick for the book club for maybe the April pick, so if you want to have your say in that, go vote in that poll. Another book I have that I recently picked up is Curse of the Phoenix by M.A. Carter, and this I picked up because it has a premise that kind of reminds me of Skandar and the Unicorn Thief. It's about dragons, unicorns, and fairies, and again, this is one I've never seen anyone talk about, but it keeps popping up on like my Goodreads, Amazon, all of that, so I bit the bullet and purchased it. A book I purchased because it reminds me of Pages & Co., which is one of my all-time middle grade series, favorite middle grade series, so many words, is Story Thieves by James Riley. This is about characters that go into books, I believe, hence reminding me of Pages & Co., but I know it's not like reinventing the wheel, and this is also the first book in a series, and it is also up to be the April book pick for the book club, so again, don't forget to vote in that poll. I have some Sophie Anderson because Sophie Anderson can do no wrong. I have The Thief Who Sang Storms, and this again I think is about an island shaped like a broken heart. The humans live on one side and the bird people live on the other. Consider me intrigued. I also have another book that recently came out that I picked up, which is Pirates of Darksea by Catherine Doyle. This I got because pirate books, I am on the hunt for the next great pirate book, yet to find it. I also have The Forgotten Five, Map of Flames, which is again the first book in a series, and it's about 8 supernatural criminals that fled and then they left behind their children. Kind of sounds like that Melissa de la Cruz series. Was it her series? You know, with the mirrors, like the Maleficent series or whatever. I'm sure someone in the comments will know. Like someone, please tell me in the comments what that was called. It was made into like Disney movies, the whole thing. This kind of reminds me of that, but hopefully better. Then a book that is a crime I still haven't read is Skandar and the Phantom Rider by A.F. Stedman. This is the beautiful Waterstones exclusive. Skandar is one of my favorite books. I do have a review if you want to watch that. It has gained some popularity in the last few months, and this is its sequel. The third book comes in April, and I think I've just been so emotionally scared of like continuing the series without having another book to read that I literally pushed it off until the month before release, but we need to get this done. Another book, which gorgeous, is The Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundle. This is about a boy who rescues a drowning griffin in a hidden lake, and his life changes forever again on map cluster of islands with magical birds. We can see a theme of like what I do enjoy in middle grade. Then I have The Clockwork Conspiracy, which I also bought recently, also Waterstones exclusive, and this I got because it's Sam Sedgman, which is one of the co-authors of the Adventures on Train series. Do I know what this is about? No. I also have another book I bought because of the author, and I don't know much of the premise, is Arcspire, which is Jamie Littler, who is the author of the Frostheart series, which I had started 2 years ago, I believe, and loved the first book too, so I got the next series he is writing. I don't know if it's a standalone or the start of a series, actually. Then we have The Girl Who Dreamed in Magic, which I talked about in my most recent vlog about how scared I am to read this book because this is by Maria Kuzniar, who wrote The Ship of Shadows. And I DNF'd that book. I really did not like The Ship of Shadows when I read it, and so this is kind of like a polar Viking fantasy, so I wanted to give the author another shot because that sounds incredible to me. It sounds very reminiscent of Fireborn by Aisling Fowler, so it's like a last chance for this author to redeem herself. Crossing my fingers, I enjoy it. I have The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which I purchased because everybody and their mom raves about this book. I found it on sale at Value Village. It's one a Newbery, I believe, and everybody was raving about this book like 4 years ago on BookTube. Even people who didn't read middle grade. So more holiday-ish themed books. One is The Miracle of Ebenezer Street by Catherine Doyle, and the other is Read, Scream, Repeat by Jennifer Killick. This is a bunch of Halloween short stories. It has like the coolest edges as well. So these I will probably read once the appropriate seasons are upon us. We're down to the last stack, folks. I have Kiki's Delivery Service, which is intimidating to me because everybody loves Kiki's Delivery Service. Everybody loves the animated film, and I'm scared I'm not gonna like it. But then again, it's like Witchy, there's a cat involved. How could I not like it? We have Minerva Keen's Detective Club, which again is a middle grade mystery. I've heard nothing about this book, and I was kind of put off because it's James Patterson, but it sounds really fun, so I eventually bit the bullet and picked this one up. I have The Rescue of Ravenwood, which is very adorable. Again, one I think could be a great springtime read. I have Spellstone, which is another magic book, a secret magical organization. This one sounds so fun, and I definitely want to prioritize this one. I look at it all the time, and Ross Montgomery is a really well-known middle grade author, but again, have not picked it up. I have Alex Neptune, Dragon Thief. These sound a little bit more on the younger middle grade spectrum, but it sounds really fun. It is a like ocean adventure. Love the vibes. Love, again, I always get pulled in with those beautiful sprayed edges. We have The Moth Keeper by Kate O'Neill, which she has the most beautiful graphic novels ever. This is indeed another graphic novel, and this one is about the great honor of being a moth keeper. We have one that I feel like is a children's classic, and that is Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. Can you believe I have not read this series? I only own the first book, but I think this is also about, yeah, book characters coming alive, and I feel like a lot of people who now write these stories were inspired by Inkheart, and since it's a trope I love so much, I think I should really read this soon. Again, this could be a read-along idea. The hamster is spinning in my head. Another book I'm gonna read most likely next November or December is The Ice Children by Angie Leonard, who was the other co-author of the Adventures on Train series. Again, sprayed edges, and this is set in December, so I feel like it would be an ideal time to read it. We have Peril on the Atlantic by A.M. Howell. This is like Adventures on Train, sorta, but Mysteries on Sea. Obsessed. Also has beautiful edges. Also the first book in a series. A book I've had on my bookshelf for literal years, probably one of my longest owned middle grades that I have not read, is Orion Lost, and this is a middle grade sci-fi, and it's like about a lost ship in space that is going to have to like come home, and like children are gonna be in charge. I don't really know. I'm intimidated because it's sci-fi. I'm not a sci-fi girly. I read a lot of genres, but sci-fi is like my, that and horror, least read. So I need someone to tell me to read this book, please. Another book I'm very shocked I haven't picked up yet is Greenwild, The World Behind the Door. This exclusive edition is gorgeous. The second book is coming out, I believe, in June. So I need to get on with it. There's like a cat on here. It looks magical. I need to read it. Another Sophie Anderson book which I have on my pile is The Girl Who Speaks Bear. Again, Sophie Anderson. I will say no more. Another holiday book which I got during the holiday season but then again ran out of time to read is Juniper's Christmas. This is gorgeous, and it's by Ian Colfer, who is again a very well-known middle grade author. And the last book on my stack is The Doomtown Dummies, and this is by Liam R. Findlay, which is a indie author who sent me this book for review, and I have yet to review it because I am bad at this, but if you want to encourage an indie author, this is about a young girl who has a super sense of smell, and I believe she can communicate with the dead. It sounds super intriguing. It's a shorter book. It's like 190 pages, and I think it's great to support indie authors, so gotta give a shout out. So that's my obnoxious stack of books that are on my middle grade TBR. Do let me know what I should prioritize, what you guys have read and enjoyed, all of that below. And I hope this was fun. I hope this was helpful. Again, I really want you guys to be like, read this book, I read this book, this is great. I want to start a conversation on middle grade with this video. It wasn't just to show off that I own a bunch of books. I'm super grateful that I can own these books and that I have work that allows me to pay for these. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye guys, happy reading.